Hello, and thank you for joining us for another episode of RamCenter. I'm your co-host, Spencer McKercher.
And I'm James Jackson. Spencer, we have a little bit of a shorter show today, right? No in-studio interview, but still lots to talk about for Westchester sports.
Lots to talk about, man. We're diving back into the men's and women's basketball. They're closing out their seasons stronger than they began and stronger than we've talked about.
We have a little bit of a sadder note for one of the teams. We'll get into that later.
Absolutely.
But then also spring sports, we're starting to dive into it. Women's softball got it started.
Can't wait, man. Can't wait. Baseball starts this coming week. I'm excited.
It should be a good one.
Can't wait.
It's RamCenter.
And it starts right now.
Everybody get up, it's time to slam now. We got a real jam going down. Welcome to the Space Jam. Get your chance, do your dance at the Space Jam. Alright. Welcome to...
Hi, once again, and welcome to this episode of RamCenter. James Jackson here. That's Spencer McKercher. And we open up with our softball team, who officially kicked off the spring sports season as they played in the Snowbird Tournament in beautiful Myrtle Beach, South Carolina this past weekend. The Lady Rams went 2-3 overall in the tournament, but fell in their most recent game by a score of 10-6 to West Virginia State. It was the Yellow Jackets who got on the offensive end early as they were able to score a run in the bottom of the first to take the lead. Westchester would respond, however, in the top of the second, scoring an RBI single from Courtney Stump and Kelly Tinsman, who was able to follow that up with a ribby of her own, which gave Dub C the early 2-1 lead. Most of the scoring was then done by West Virginia State as they tacked on 4 insurance runs in the bottom of the second and in the bottom of the fourth. Westchester would try to make a late rally as Alyssa Harrion went yard with a 2-run homer in the sixth, but it was not enough as West Virginia State would hold on to secure the victory. Westchester will be back in action on Saturday the 24th when they take on Salem and Chowan in the Hawks Softball Classic in Murfreesboro, North Carolina. Now, Spencer, Westchester comes in, our softball team that is, ranked number 16 in the country, right. But it was the offensive end that really struggled. They batted .285 in the tournament, which is a little above average, but still not where they want to be.
Not where they want to be at all, and especially when you're facing teams, that we normally don't face, or that we normally don't see, especially when we get into PSAC play. And it's awesome that we're starting these tournaments, down south, teams we're not familiar with. And it's crazy the fact that we're playing West Virginia State, and we'll play these other teams in North Carolina in the coming week. So maybe that threw off the girls maybe just a little bit, but I don't know. I still feel like .285, that's where they want to start. I feel like that's a good start to start the season.
Right, not a bad place to start. They batted .285 overall in the tournament, but it's unbalanced through top to bottom. We got the number 1 through 6 hitters in the lineup batting plus 300, but then the last 7 through 10, because remember you play 10 with softball. The last 7 through 10 are batting sub 250, and some of those are in the 100 range. I'm talking batting averages of 111, 104, 107. That's just not going to get it done, especially when you need the bottom of the lineup to kind of pick up those people who get on base. They just need to help out your starting pitching.
Absolutely, and I think that we're still dusting up the shoves a little bit, and I think our managers, she's trying to get things going. It's still the first 2 games of the season, so I think we'll rearrange the lineup a little bit, maybe get those lower hitters, maybe batting higher, maybe put some of our higher batters who are batting well to start the season. We'll throw them down. We'll find a nice balance. The season will develop, and we'll see that development as the season goes on here in the next few months.
And it's something we're not used to because for most of every other sport, the PSAC is the dominant conference in Division II. It's not that way for softball. So when you go down south to these other teams, you're going to run into powerhouses that you may not run into when you go into the PSAC. So it's good to get that good competition out of the way, and you can get it figured out when you get to less competition when you get back into the conference.
It's always easier to face harder teams in the beginning, and then it makes everything a lot easier.
Absolutely.
So sweet. It's been rare that we've had to report anything negative about either one of our basketball teams this season. However, we do have some sad news this time around, as our men's basketball team lost a hard-fought game against East Stroudsburg with a high score of 111-101. This matchup brought in 2 of the most prolific offenses that Division II has to offer. The Warriors came into Saturday's game posting the number 1 offense in the PSAC and the number 4 offense in the country at 93.7 points per game, while your Golden Rams came in 4th in offense in the PSAC, averaging just over 86 points per game, and averaging 104 points per game over their last 5 contests. With just over 17 minutes remaining in the first half, Westchester found themselves with a double-digit lead, 16-6. Westchester hit another quick 6-0 run to end the half, up 46-40, and looked to be in the driver's seat. The second half, however, was a role reversal for both squads as the host Warriors came out firing and connecting from deep. In a blink of the eye, Westchester was up, or East Stroudsburg, however, was up on Westchester 97-82 with just over 3 minutes remaining. 9 points would be as close as Westchester would get for the remainder of the game. Although Westchester hit the 100 mark once again, they were unable to handle East Stroudsburg's 62% shooting from the field. Jackson Highland led all scorers for the Rams with his season-high 30 points, and Tyrell Long did his normal thing, posting 23 points and 8 rebounds. Saturday's defeat, the first of Westchester in their last 5 games, drops the Golden Rams to 20-5 on the year and pushes Westchester from the top spot in the PSAC Eastern Division now down to number 3 behind Shippensburg and East Stroudsburg, who are both 16-4, with one regular season game remaining against those Shippensburg Red Raiders on Wednesday the 21st. J-Man, hey, it's coming. We knew it was coming.
Right.
You know,
can't win them all. Can't win them all.
Exactly. And, you know, starting 17-0 was one thing. Losing 3 straight, reporting on that, thank goodness we weren't here for most of it. Mm-hmm. But now this, after the big 5-game win streak, we're still scoring 100 points, but we just hit a roadblock with a team that's on fire right now.
And we've been talking a lot about Westchester's offense, how great it is, how we can't wait to see this offense in playoff time. Let's stop talking about their offense and start talking about their defense, the problem area, right? And we're winning all these games, but when's the last time we reported on a game where a team has yet to score 80 points, 90 points, 100 points?
Exactly.
We're just outscoring teams. And I think when you get to these good teams, the East Stroudsburgs and the Shippensburgs, who we're going to face one of them in the semifinals before going to the final and probably facing the other one, right? We're going to have to learn to play defense. It's not what we want to do. It's not just outscoring teams, it's making sure that the other teams don't score.
Exactly. And, you know, Jackson, huge game. Big props to him for scoring 30. But again, it's coming down to defense. This is where we need Frank, you know, and all those other guys to step on the defensive end, get big plays on defense, get big stops on defense, and I think we'll be fine.
I think it was because of last year we struggled to score at times. That such a focus went on the offensive end this year, and defense has kind of fallen by the wayside, which it's been able to because we've been such a high-scoring team.
Exactly.
But now as playoff time comes, much more emphasis has to be on that defensive end. Look, East Stroudsburg scored 31 points off of turnovers. That's something that just can't happen as we keep going on. You know what I mean? So that's something that's got to be fixed. It's got to be fixed pretty quickly.
Quickly, because, you know, we have one game remaining here at home, Shippensburg, this coming Wednesday. Man, we have to figure something out for that before we go into the PSACs if we even want a shot at the NCAA tournament.
We did outscore their bench 43-24, so it looked like besides, you know, Jackson Highland and Tyrell Long, that the starters weren't able to get something done. It's the first time in a long time we haven't mentioned names, you know, such as Matt Pennicow and things like that. So it looks like the bench really kicked it in, but it's the defensive end for me. Defense and turnovers, which you focus on those two things, you're pretty much going to win a championship.
It's easy. Defense always wins championships, my man. Defense always wins championships.
So now we send it over to Reggie, who switches it up from Westchester sports to pro sports. Take it away, Reg.
Hello, Rams. Reggie Dudley here with your pro sports update. As we are more than halfway through the month of February, which is widely considered as Black History Month, it hasn't been the best thus far for 2 African-American athletes. LeBron James, the 14-time All-Star, 3-time champion, and who is highly recognized with his philanthropy in the communities, was told by Laura Ingraham to shut up and dribble. In a statement released on Friday, according to CNN News, she said, quote, "There was no racial intent in my remarks," unquote. To counter, LeBron stated, "We will definitely not shut up and dribble. I mean too much to the society and the youth," unquote. It is ironic to think the remarks from Ingram were racially insensitive, especially when the fans are chanting for an African-American hockey player to play basketball. This past Saturday, Capitals right wing Devontae Smith-Pelly heard the chants, "Basketball, basketball, basketball." According to the Tribune, the 25-year-old stated, "You think there will be some change or progression, but we're still working towards it, I guess," unquote. On a more positive note, it was All-Star Weekend. The fans finally received what they've wanted after years of drought: competitive basketball. Team LeBron defeated Team Steph 148-145, with LeBron taking home MVP honors for the 3rd time in his career. The numbers spoke for themselves as he put up 29 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. Not too bad for a 33-year-old. Lastly, what would All-Star Weekend be without saying happy birthday to the GOAT? On February 17th, Michael Jordan turned 55 years old. He is a 6-time NBA champion, 14-time All-Star, and 2-time Slam Dunk winner. Happy birthday, Mike. I'm Reggie Dudley with this segment in Pro Sports. Now over to Taylor Christensen for This Day in Sports.
What's happening, Rams? I'm Taylor Christensen, and this is This Day in Sports. And coming off the heels of NBA All-Star Weekend, it's only fitting to talk about one of the game's greatest talents, Charles Barkley. On February 19, 1996, Barkley collected his 10,000th career rebound, becoming just the 10th player in NBA history to score over 20,000 points and grab 10,000 boards. Currently, there are 18 players in history in this exclusive club, including all-time great bigs like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Wilt Chamberlain, Shaquille O'Neal, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Tim Duncan. Also on this day in 1996, Patrick Waugh of the Colorado Avalanche became the second youngest NHL goaltender ever to reach 300 career victories and 12th ever to win number 300. Waugh revolutionized the goalie position during the 80s and 90s by integrating the butterfly style of goaltending, a positional technique widely used by today's generation of goaltenders. Waugh would go on to retire as the NHL's all-time winningest goaltender in 2003 with 551 wins, a total only surpassed by New Jersey Devils legend Martin Brodeur. That's all I have for this day in sports. Now over to James and Spence in the studio.
Thank you, Taylor. Very interesting this day in sports. He was telling us off camera that not many things happened this day, but two very big things did happen, starting with Chuck Barkley, the former 76er, before he went on to do great things. Good to see him getting on the board.
And the greatest goaltender of all time. And I know Tate loves his hockey, so it's always I love that he's throwing some hockey in there because I played some hockey back in the day,
Right.
so I love it, man. So shout out
It was
to
great
Tate
to
for-
see. You could see the passion that he said it with, too. He really enjoyed that.
Exactly,
one.
my man.
That's
Exactly.
right. Well, our women's basketball team put their 15-game winning streak to the test against the Lady Warriors of East Stroudsburg on Saturday. The ladies truly showed what it means to be Ram tough as they won a barn burner on the road 83-81. Much like the men's, this game hosted two of the top teams in the PSAC as the number 1 and number 2 squads in the conference went off head-to-head. The Golden Rams had a tough time shooting the ball in the first half. They connected on just 28% of their shots from the floor and actually failed to hit any of their three-point attempts in the first half. Yikes. Despite the early shooting woes, though, Westchester still only trailed by 7 points at the half, 37-30. The Warriors managed to build their lead to as many as 11 points to start the second half, but the Golden Rams refused to go down quietly. Down by 1, a jumper by Portia Speller at the 1:46 mark gave Westchester its first lead of the ball game, 51-50, and capped a 21-11 Westchester run to start the third quarter. Both teams exchanged advantages over the next few moments, and a layup by Catherine Fisher reset the game 56-56 heading into the final frame. The Warriors would answer back with a 6-0 spurt to hack the deficit to just 2 before a huge triple by, guess who, Portia Speller late in the shot clock stretched the Rams' lead back to 2 possessions, 80-75, with just 30 ticks remaining on the clock. Despite the momentum-changing shot by Speller, Westchester was far from shook, as a three-pointer by Jordan Hurts brought the team to within a single point, 81-80, with 12 seconds to play. But then Lexi Bruno was fouled on the ensuing inbound play, and our senior, as tough as she is, stepped to the line and knocked down 2 huge free throws to put Westchester up 83-80 with just 8 ticks left on the clock. The ladies will end their season on the same day as the men on Wednesday, the 21st, against that same Shippensburg team. We're both at home. So, Spencer, let me throw out some stats for you for this game, because it's mind-boggling to me how we have these stats and still win the game. 46% from the field, that's not bad. 10% from 3, 1 for 10 from the game. How does a team shoot 1 for 10 from 3-point and still win the game?
Right, excellence, my man. And that 1-3 came with,
30 seconds left
left in the game with Portia.
A huge jumper by Portia Speller.
Amazing. These girls, what a turnaround. What a turnaround. 16 straight wins now, ties the school record. We talked about it last week. There's something to be said about this Lady Rams basketball team. To come from behind, they were down big to start the second half. To come from behind and shoot the ball as poorly as they did, it's amazing.
What's amazing to me is that we said it in in the program while we were talking about the game, Westchester came out unshook. Most of the time, you don't hit a three in the first half, and your coach is telling you, go to the rim, no more threes. This Westchester team was unfazed. They continued to still shoot the ball. Didn't hit one until the minute 46 mark.
We needed it.
Right, but they continued to shoot, and that's the mindset you needed to have. This was the #1 team going against the #2 team in the PSAC, and we showed why we deserve that PSAC championship in this game. Great game.
Those are one of the basketball games, men's or women's, that come down. You have to love it. The atmosphere there, it was at East Stroudsburg, had to be fantastic.
Right.
Had to be amazing. I wish we were there.
It's one of those games you throw stats out the window, and at this point, it's who wants the game more.
Exactly.
And it showed that Westchester wanted the game more. But speaking of stats, I'll throw out some stats here. Portia Speller with a game-high 25 points. The 4th time in the last 6 games and the 10th time overall this season she's able to do this.
Amazing year.
Mia Hopkins, her team-leading 10th double-double, 18 points, 10 rebounds. Once we go into the playoffs, it is those 2 that we need.
That's all we need. We need a lot more, but if we can contribute, if we can get them to contribute, it's going to be unstoppable. I mean, we mentioned last week Mia almost had a quadruple double.
Right.
If she can still continue to put up those numbers, we're going to be fine.
I haven't seen a team who's able to stop that combination of Mia Hopkins on the inside and Portia Speller and Camden Bonner on the outside. And if there is a team out there in Division II, we have yet to see them. So I
hope we see them in the tournament. I hope we do.
I really hope we do too. But I believe you have some top plays for us, right?
It's an amazing All-Star weekend. Let's kick it off.
All right.
What's up, Rams? It feels a little weird to be not behind the desk, especially with my partner in crime. But here are this week's top 5 plays, All-Star Weekend edition. Coming in at number 5, we're going Friday, the celebrity game. It's Quavo denying Rachel Demita into the stands, and he feels awful immediately when it was done. We take another look, just swatting Rachel away from the basket. I feel awful for Rachel, but however, Quavo ended up going on to win MVP of the 2018 Celebrity All-Star Game. Coming in at number 4, we had the Saturday in the three-point contest where we saw Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns, known for his prolific scoring, break the three-point record with 28. Devin only missed 5 total shots on his way to the three-point champion, and in this round, the second round, knocked out Tobias Harris. Coming in at number 3, we head to the dunk contest, and it's Dennis Smith Jr. My goodness. Now, Dennis did not win the dunk contest, but I still think, in my own opinion, this was the best dunk of the contest. An amazing 360 in between the legs dunk. Gets mad props from defending champion Aaron Gordon. We see it one more time. Right to left in midair, going 360. It's Dennis Smith Jr., the rookie from the Dallas Mavericks, coming in at number 3 with a fantastic dunk contest dunk. Coming in at number 2, in my opinion, there was a huge debate for 1 and 2, but I decided to go with this at 2. It's LeBron to Russell, one dribble back to LeBron for the reverse slam. Team LeBron putting on a show. LeBron to Russell, back to LeBron with the reverse dunk. Team LeBron with a comeback victory on Sunday's amazing All-Star game. 148-145, and it was one of the best All-Star games I've ever seen, and I hope we continue to keep that up. But here we have, again, Russell to LeBron for the emphatic behind-the-head dunk. And finally, coming in at number 1, it was probably one of my favorite rising star games to watch. The world up big, 155-120, and it turned into a dunk contest. Jaylen Brown, my goodness, with 24 seconds left, down by 35, comes with a huge in-between-the-legs dunk. Donovan Mitchell with the steal, the no-look to John Collins of the Atlanta Hawks. An unbelievable sequence of plays. There was emphatic dunks all around throughout the game. Lots and lots of young talent. The future of the NBA is going to look very bright coming up, and this play again was just amazing. We see the steal again from Donovan Mitchell and the no-look behind the head lob to a soaring John Collins of the Atlanta Hawks. And that is my number 1 play from All-Star Weekend. Thanks, guys. An amazing All-Star Weekend, and those are my 5 favorite plays of the weekend. Now over to myself and James to wrap up the show.
You were right, man. What a wild All-Star weekend. And let me say, I'm so happy that the All-Star game is back and it's entertaining again. That was a great All-Star game.
If we continue to do this, and like we talked about last night, you know, if it's LeBron and Steph every year, I'm fine with that. I'm completely fine
We've
with
gotten
that.
LeBron and Steph for the last 3 finals. If I can get them for every All-Star game, I think I'm perfectly okay with that.
It's just good to see that defense was finally played. You know, it was a battle of, you know, rights. It wasn't just Eastern and Western anymore. It was a battle of rights. But I think by far my favorite play, I mean, the Rising Star game was amazing. You know, the amount of talent there was amazing. But you know what? Nothing gets better than seeing LeBron James dunk the ball behind his head, especially when it's coming from Russell Westbrook.
For Russ. I think my favorite play would have to be Dennis Smith Jr.'s dunk in the dunk contest. It didn't win. It got a 50, but I think overall was the best dunk of the dunk and a little lackluster of a dunk contest.
I was about to say, you know, we've had like iffy dunk contests the last 4 years, you know, and I would put it like second behind Levine and Aaron Gordon a few years ago. That was the best I've
I
seen.
don't know if it would climb that high on my list, but Dennis Smith Jr., you did your thing in that dunk contest, buddy.
Absolutely. Well, hey, that's going to do it for this episode of RamCenter. Make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at WCU RamCenter. And remember, always smack that like button on our Facebook page. As always, I'm your co-host, Spencer McKercher.
And I'm James Jackson. You stay golden, Dub C, and we'll see you back here next week.
Welcome to